let's just get right into it. If you're a developer, your feeds are probably flooded with AI tools. But let's be honest, you know most of them are just hype. So today, we are cutting through all that noise. We're going to break down the 5 kinds of AI tools that real, experienced software engineers are actually using to build, deploy, and, get their work done.
This quote from Pooja Dutt just hits the nail on the head, right? It perfectly captures that frustration. We are not talking about tools that do what your calculator has been doing for 20 years. We're talking about tools that solve the real, meaty, complex problems that engineers face every single day. So our whole mission here is to give you a practical, no-hype look at what's actually out there. These are the tools that have been vetted, that are making a real difference in professional workflows, all based on insights from engineers who are deep in the trenches.
All right, here's the game plan. We're going to start right inside the IDE with code generation and context. Then we'll zoom out to the cloud in your workflow. After that, we dive into the really fun stuff, agents and model libraries. And then we'll wrap it all up with a final verdict. Okay, first up, generation and In-IDE assistants. This is a developer's bread and butter. We're talking about everything from whipping up a quick function to trying to understand a massive codebase you've never seen before. So what are the real pain points here? Well, first, it's getting an AI to write code that actually works without you having to spend an hour debugging it. And second, it's that feeling of being dropped into a new project and having to figure out how thousands of files connect. These tools, they're built to solve exactly those problems. For just pure, raw code generation, the top dog is OpenAI's Codex. Now, why is that? It's simple. It was trained specifically on code. It thinks in code. That intense focus means it hallucinates less, which gives you way more reliable output. It's the OG engine that powered GitHub Copilot. And this table really breaks it down. Look, you wouldn't ask a family doctor to perform brain surgery, right? Same idea. For high-stakes code, you want a specialist. If you ask ChatGPT for a tricky bit of code, you'll probably get something that's close. But ask Codex, and it's much more likely to nail it because it understands the nuances. So use ChatGPT for brainstorming, but when you're writing PRs or training examples, turn to Codex. The web version is actually perfect for this. Okay, generating snippets is one thing, but what about understanding an entire project from right inside your editor? That's a whole different ballgame. For that, you need a tool with deep, repository-wide context. And the standout here is a tool called Augment. Now this is the absolute game changer. Most AI assistants, they just look at the file you have open, maybe a few lines around it, and then they guess. Augment is completely different. It indexes your entire repository first. It's like having a new senior dev join your team who spent an entire week doing nothing but studying the codebase before writing a single line. That level of understanding is it's a superpower. So how on earth does it do this? Well, the secret sauce is that it's powered by Claude Sonnet 4. That model has a massive context window, which is exactly what you need to swallow a whole project with hundreds of thousands of files. And because it sees the entire picture, how all the modules connect, all the dependencies, it can do really complex things instantly. We're talking it can clone our repo, install everything it needs, and build out a new feature correctly on the first try. That's what true context gets you. All right, let's step outside of the local IDE for a minute and talk about the cloud and our day-to-day workflow. This next set of tools is all about speed, spinning up dev environments in seconds and streamlining all the work that happens around the code. This is, honestly, the best way to think about our third tool, Replit. If you have ever wasted hours and hours fighting with dependencies and environment setups just to test one little idea, Replit is for you. It's coding, but it's collaborative and instant, just like a Google Doc. So let's break down why it's so great. First, zero setup. Seriously, you open a browser tab, you start coding. Done. It's got an AI assistant called Ghostwriter built right in. And you know what? It's surprisingly powerful. You can host a full-stack app, connect it to a front end, and even use its built-in database. It is the perfect tool for hammering out an MVP and getting a shareable link for a demo in like minutes. So Replit takes care of the coding environment. But let's be real. So much of an engineer's time is spent outside the code. I'm talking about that endless loop of meetings and planning and syncs. And that brings us to our fourth tool, which solves a completely different but maybe just as important problem: turning all that talk into action. This is where a tool like Radiant comes in. It's an AI workspace built for engineers. Now, the crucial detail here is that it listens locally on your machine. So you don't have that weird, awkward bot joining your Zoom call. And then as soon as the meeting's over, boom, it's already drafted your linear tickets, your project specs, your task lists, even the follow-up email. It literally turns conversations into work.
All right, for our fifth and final category, we're taking a huge leap. We're moving beyond AI as just an assistant and into AI as a builder. This is all about creating automated systems that go and do things for you and plugging powerful models directly into your own apps. This is where stuff gets really fun. I love this quote because it's so simple and so true. A normal LLM, it answers your questions. An AI agent, it gets stuff done. It doesn't just tell you how to organize your email. It goes into your inbox, reads the emails, categorizes them, and replies for you. It takes action. So how do you build one of these agents without needing a PhD? Well, you can start with a workflow tool like NNN. It's basically the frame of your agent. And as you can see, it's all visual. You just drag blocks and connect them like a puzzle to map out the steps. Read this email, then check my calendar, then post a message to Slack. You can build a really powerful automation in just a few minutes, no code required. But that workflow is just the chassis of the car. To make your agent truly intelligent, you need an engine, a brain. And just like you wouldn't build your own car engine from scratch, you don't build an AI model from scratch. For that, you go to a model library.
And the undisputed king here is Hugging Face. The best way to think of it is as the GitHub of AI models. It's the engine shop for your N8 agent. It's this massive open library where you can find, test, and plug in models for pretty much anything. Text generation, summarization, you name it. And that combination is the key. NAN builds the workflow, Hugging Face provides the intelligence. And that's how you go from just using AI tools to actually building with them.
So we've looked at all these incredible tools, from code generators to IDE assistants to workflow automators and model libraries. What's the big takeaway here? What does this all mean for you, the modern developer? This right here. This is the whole point. The job is changing. Being a great software engineer isn't just about writing clean code anymore. It's about knowing how to leverage these intelligent systems to build things better, faster, and more powerfully than ever before. It's a fundamental shift from being a writer to being an architect. So where should you start? The real secret isn't to just go download one tool. It's to look at your own day and figure out your biggest pain point. Is your bottleneck writing boilerplate code? Go try Codex. Are you constantly getting lost in a huge new repo? Augment is your answer. Drowning in beating action items? Check out Radiant. The best tool is always going to be the one that removes the most friction from your specific day, so you can focus on the hard stuff. The future is all about building with these intelligent systems, not just writing code. So the real question to ask yourself is this: what's the biggest point of friction in your workflow right now? If you can identify that, you'll know exactly which of these tools to try first. So,